process.
Have you had to do that yet? Have you had to outlast
No.
somebody?
But it's been attempted.
Mm.
It was attempted the last 2 times. And thank goodness, and that's what's really neat, at the last minute, you kind of get together. The cruise people were very organized in this area. I take my hat off to them. And the Trump people were not. He ran a totally different campaign. But the cruise people did want to take the caucus, but at the last minute, we were able to merge our list of delegates and alternates and came out with a united slate. But they did have a person that they wanted to chair on that, but we met and got that figured out. 4 years ago, it was the Ron Paul group tried to do that, and they were very aggressive and just very aggressive. This one was a little more toned down than before, but that's part of the process. The state committee does set dates for your caucuses and conventions. Those are not just pulled out of the air. Now, RNC does, no, Missouri did set our presidential preference primary, and they set that date March 15th. State committee also said when all of our local caucuses would be, and so every county in the state met April 9th. And at our local caucus, there was 2 basic things you do, besides getting your chair and vice chair elected. You elect your delegates and alternates, and that's that list. I said that we merged together and had a united one. We elect those to go on to congressional and state conventions. And also what we do, we start the process of our platform, reviewing our platform, and we have the ability to put things into our Missouri Republican platform. It starts by your state committee has a platform committee, and they look at your current platform. And they look, some of these items we wanted have been done, and so they'll take those out. And they may put, well, but we still want to support this. So they tweak it and make it more updated. It's online, so everyone can look at it. And at our county level, and this is what takes a lot of time, many times, are the platform planks. And they will bring them forward and discuss those, and we'll have debate on the floor, and we will take a vote. Yes, I want that to go on to congressional, or no. And so when we get that list of all that want to go on to the congressional districts, then we package them, every county does, and sends it to their congressional. So we send ours to the 7th congressional. Then we're done with our caucus. Then the next one is the congressional district convention, and that was set by the state, was April 30th. And there you start electing, and those are now the people that we elected at our county level. They're now at the congressional, and now we're going to start electing people to send to our national convention. That's the big part. Plus, they will also ask for changes, additions, or corrections to the platform. And so they have now received all from the county, and they put together a platform committee at the congressional level. That congressional level platform committee went through all of our county suggestions, and then they made a recommendation to congressional. This time they did not take the committee's recommendation, and they more or less debated several things on the floor. That took quite a while. But we're all involved, and that's part of the process. Then we go to this, then what those would do, the congressional, what they said on their platform, then it goes to the state committee, platform committee again. They take those, and you'll find many of these are duplicates, because these are coming in from all over the state, and sometimes there is an organized effort on certain things. So you have many duplications, and then that state committee will sit down and go through things and put it together. Then it will be posted, and at our state convention, there's a final time to do input at that state convention, which was held March 20th and through 21st last year in Branson. And also at that convention, they also elected delegates for the national convention, and I was fortunate to be elected at the state committee level to go on to national in Cleveland. Then our national convention set by the RNC was in Cleveland, July 18th through 21. That was kind of scary going up to that. Didn't know how the tempo would be, but it was very secure. The Cleveland people were just dynamic as hosts, and lots of good security there. But it was a concern going into that meeting. Some questions and answers that come up with caucuses, because they're very confusing. Why do we have a caucus? Missouri statute requires the Missouri Republican Party to conduct a series of caucuses culminating in a congressional and state convention for the purpose of selecting delegates to the national convention. That's why we have a caucus, going to congressional, going to state. Why were Missouri delegates bound to the results of the primary? Each state, and I know Trump kind of criticized this, but each state party, we set our own rules. So each state is different. Again, I applaud Ted Cruz. He knew those rules. He knew how to work them. So this is what our state did. On the RNC rules, they prohibit state parties from holding non-binding primaries. If a statewide primary is held, the rules state that our delegates must be bound by the results of the vote at the 2016 National Convention. And we have 52 delegates. So these delegates had to follow the rules that were set for us at our state committee level. The state committee put in place a 2016 delegate allocation plan that said if a candidate wins by absolute majority in our state, Missouri will be a winner-take-all. We figured that would not happen because of the many candidates we had. So our second, if no candidate won an absolute majority, the top vote getter in each congressional district would get 5 delegates. We have 8 congressional districts, so if you want, and you might want to refer to the map now, because this is the delegate allocation plan and how it ended up after our primary election. So no candidate won by absolute majority. The top in each congressional district got 5 delegates. So you will see there are 8 districts, so 5 times 8 is 40. The top vote getter statewide would then get 9 delegates, plus they would pick up the 3 more from the state chair, our national committee man, and national committee woman, equaling our 52 votes. It's pretty deep. Trump did win statewide, as we all know, so he got the 9 votes just from winning statewide. Then you had to break down into your congressional districts, and you see Cruz won 7, 4, and 5. So he won 3 times 5. He had 15 there. That's all only delegates he got in our state were those. And Trump picked up the other 37. And again, this was all set, and I got to sit in on that rule committee, and it took a while to figure out this, how are we going to decide on this. So that's how Missouri decided our 52 votes. Our delegates are bound by those votes unless the candidate steps out or becomes, I forget the word, but they're not active anymore. They kind of just quit. And Cruz did that. So those people that were bound by Cruz did not have to vote for Cruz at National Convention. Most of them did. 3 of them did not. 3 of them went on over to Trump.
So he released the folks that
Yes,
voted
he did.
for him, but he didn't guide them to vote specifically.
No.
I know he was not a fan of the guy who eventually won.
No, he was not. And that was really interesting listening to his speech there. He did a dynamic speech on the floor, but it ended in a pretty sad note. But he was a dynamic speaker.
You can hardly blame the guy. I mean, those 2 had a bitter.
Very bitter.
Yeah.
We had a very bitter campaign. We did in our governor's race too. Politics is not easy. It's mean, and you're in a glass box, and everything you say and do is going to come up. They're going to study you, and it's just mean. I don't like it.
Danette, I don't think that would shock us on a national level. On a local level, would you describe it as more cordial or still very combative?
It got very nasty in the governor's race. Now, our lieutenant governor race was different. Our lieutenant governor candidate said, I'm not going there. And we tell our candidates, you're best not to go there. But many times they know in the very last minute they're behind. They have to pop an arrow or something. And those last 10 days of an election are, ooh, you wish they'd go away. Because somebody might pop something on you and you have no way to get your word out that, hey, it's not really like that. Here's really what happened. So it can get nasty. We tell our candidates don't. If you do, you, by golly, better have know what you're doing, or it's going to backfire on We do not like negative campaigns, but they were, people were so mixed up on that governor's race, they didn't know what to believe. I mean, you heard everything. And that's why we encourage the people, get out there, study your candidates, go online, go to their events. And we have our candidates down here a lot in Southwest Missouri. They love this vote down here. Republicans are conservative, and the 7th district is a very conservative area. So they come down here to help get our votes to offset a lot in Kansas City and St. Louis. So that's what we tell our people, get out there, shake hands with these people, listen to them, see how they act in public. And you get that opportunity in Greene County. What we really like to push in Greene County are our Republican clubs. We're very great with these clubs. We have the Greene County Republican Women, and men can also go to that. We have the oldest Greene County women, or the oldest Republican Women Club in Missouri, and we're proud of that. We also have the Greater Ozark Pachyderm Club. The pachyderms are our educational arm. They were established in Missouri 50 years ago, and we're going to have the National Pachyderm meeting in Springfield in June to celebrate its 50th anniversary. A gentleman by the name of George Parker started it, and it's to educate the public. And this club and the women's club will take on issues, but they'll be fair. They'll do both sides. Primary candidates, they'll bring all the candidates in. Target is our fundraising arm. Target stands for the Association of Republicans Getting Everyone Together. That was established in Greene County a little over 50 years ago to help us with funding to help promote our candidates. Also, we're very proud of our college Republicans. We have very active chapters here at OTC, MSU, and Evangel. And Sarah Buxton is your OTC College Republican President. She's a very dynamic lady. It's exciting to see our college Republicans get involved, and I encourage you, whether Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, to get involved in the political arena. Many of our CRs, and what I love to do, I love to see those CRs get plugged in and work their way on up. Many of them are now working in Jefferson City and in Washington, D.C., because they like the political arena. The candidates, which become office holders, know them, know how they work, and they plug them in big time. So if that's your desire, I would really encourage getting involved with your college Republican club. We also have a young Republican club that is up to 40 years age. That's not real active. That's a hard group to keep going, but we do have one going. We also have another club called the Missouri Republican Assembly. That is not part of our umbrella as a Republican, but they do push conservative agenda, and they also will take positions. They will endorse. That club will. Your others, you're not going to see that at all. Let me tell you a little bit about Greene County headquarters. It is located at 1345 East Sunshine. We're open 9:30 to 1:30. During the election cycle, we always try to find, or we always do find another campaign headquarters site. This year we were at Brentwood Center, right across from the mall. We extend our hours. We still just have one paid person there. The rest are all volunteers. However, you will see a lot of the campaigns do have a paid coordinator that will work out of our office. We do phone calls. We organize various campaign events. Most of our candidates came in and did news releases there. It's a great place to gather everyone together. And finally, how can you get involved? If there's an opening in your precinct or ward, you can look on our website and see. We'd love to have you on Central Committee. On Central Committee, you have to have lived there 1 year and be a registered voter 1 year. That's your own, and a Republican. That's your only qualification. Like for you to attend our clubs, they're open to everyone, and volunteer. Right now, the volunteering is not much, but last year it was a lot. We had a lot of people volunteering, and that's all I have.
Great. Well, thank you. First of all, round of applause. Thank you. I want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
We'll open the floor if we have a couple questions designated, and if anybody else wants to ask as well. Whenever you guys are ready. You feel free to raise your hand and then call.
Yes, ma'am.
There were, I knew about some protests going on downtown. I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Does that affect you or your team at all?
No, and we encourage protest as as long as they're legal and civil. We don't want any violence. But everyone has a right to express their concern, and we think they're fine. We've seen them in front of headquarters. Our senator and congressman have seen them there, and that's we can do that, and I appreciate being able to do that. There was a protest out a week or so ago when Governor Brighton's was here. There were protesters out on the street. They were on the sidewalk, so they were not on private property. Some of them did come inside.
In front of your headquarters?
No, this is in front of, Brighton's was in Springfield. We did have them in front of headquarters, yes, back last year. But just recently, they were in Brighton's, had a news release here in Springfield about his signing of the right to work. There were protesters out there. And there were also, it was open to the public, and it said, you know, anybody could come in. So some of the protesters did come in. They stood in the back. We didn't know they were protesters. But the minute that Governor Brighton said right to work, they did start chanting, I think it was right to work, not for us. And it was pretty loud, and how the governor handled that, he just kept talking and looking around, and there were a lot of highway patrol there, and the highway patrol just came and got them, and they peacefully went on out. And the governor just kept speaking all along. So they are fine. We have no problem as long as they're peaceful and legal. Next question? Yes, sir.
How do you feel about high schools like providing A+ money?
Again, we don't get on issues, but I love A+ money. And our platform, and I have our platform here, we push education. We want education. And we love community colleges. That puts you right in the workforce. Yes, sir.
I'm kind of concerned about why the protesters were escorted out if they were peaceful.
Well, they got loud, they were loud, and they were disruptive. And they were respectful, and they followed the highway patrol out. And that's what, you need to be respectful if you're a protester. I have protested before, and you follow the rules and be respectful.
How long have you been in your current position?
9 years as chair and, volunteer, chair of the Republican Central Committee.
You serve a term?
Yes, we are elected every 2 years.
And so you would be up, is it every even year, every odd year?
Even year.
Even year?
Yeah.
Okay. You intend to?
So far, but there's always a time when you need to move on.
Right.
And you need to have, and we've got some good people. And you will find, it's so interesting to study the structure of our party. There are men and women in precincts. When you elect your officers and your legislative, senatorial, and Central Committee, you have a male, female, male, female. So it's very interesting, and it's not domineering, but it's very fair. But so far I'm okay, but I might, who knows, in another year I may be ready to move on. It takes a lot of time. I probably spend 20 hours a week, and it was over 40 last year. I was very busy. But I'm in a position where I can do that. I'm semi-retired.
Danette, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
for speaking.
Thank
Just
you.
one more round of applause.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
stay
you.
in touch. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, so just a few remarks about what we've heard over the past 40 minutes. And I've got a few more flyers here, Danette, that I'll continue
Okay.
passing out throughout the day.
Okay.
A few things that we heard throughout the day. Throughout the past hour, we had reviewed, prior to the exam, we had a conversation about ideology. We'll talk a little bit later about political parties. The Republican Party is we are in a two-party system primarily in the United States. And we talked a little bit about ideology, how, we talked about capitalism versus communism. Now, we're in a capitalist country, but the government has a role in that capitalism. Now, Danette spoke for a while about the Republican Party's belief in reduced government action in a free market, and how conservatism typically favors a more reduced government role. But that reduced government role, we're specifying national government. We still believe in a proactive, powerful local government.
Yes, yes, yes.
So folks like yourself end up being very, very prominent and stuff like that. Anyways, it was such a great treat. Thank you for visiting us very much. All right.
Done with me?
Oh, yes, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Well, have a good day.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch though, absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
help.